Recently, many people have been deeply concerned about the state of the Bitcoin market because of the correction that we saw yesterday afternoon, where Bitcoin had originally rallied to $45,000 and dropped down to about 41. Many people are now wondering, has this massive rally that we've been in ever since September finally come to its penultimate conclusion? Are we actually not going to go to all-time high in Q1 of next year as many had hoped? It's my goal in this video to bring you some clarity on where Bitcoin has been, where Bitcoin is going, and how we should approach investing and trading in this market for the highest returns possible right now. So let's go ahead and talk about how we got to where we are. In September of this year, we saw a major rally start on Bitcoin from a low of $25,000. At the time, we had a certain level of resistance. It was called $28,545 as our ceiling. We managed to break through that and all the way up to about 31.8 on the news that BlackRock had approved a Bitcoin ETF. But wait, they hadn't. It was fake news. Cointelegraph got it wrong. And Bitcoin continued the rally because many people realized, wait a minute, an ETF approval will eventually come. And then November the 9th rolls around and BlackRock announces that they're going for an Ethereum ETF also, which only emboldens investors because if BlackRock's going for the number 2 cryptocurrency ETF, then they must have some kind of confidence that they're going to get an approval on the number 1 cryptocurrency ETF, that being the Bitcoin ETF. And so Bitcoin rallies even farther and hits a local high, a yearly high, a bull market high of $45,000 like last Wednesday. Well, Bitcoin in that time rallied from $25,000 to $45,000, a $20,000 rally in less than 90 days. That is the size of the entire bull market, not the last bull market, but the 2016-17 bull market in less than a quarter. And so Bitcoin obviously needed to correct. And on the way up here, I've been shouting from the rooftops as much as I can that a correction is hiding around every corner like a rabid cheetah ready to devour its prey in a bush. And you need to watch out for it because it's going to come at any moment. Well, there was an uptrend on the hourly chart that Bitcoin broke through, and Bitcoin fell straight down to another uptrend, except this uptrend was about $3,000 lower. And so Bitcoin plummeted $2,500 in 2.5 hours on a $272 million long liquidation. A lot of people got wrecked because they were longing without their stop losses. Let's take a moment of silence for everyone who went in a long trade and didn't use a stop loss. Okay, that moment's up. Let's not do that again. Let's make sure we use our stop losses so we don't get liquidated. You should never be getting liquidated when trading. I do let you guys know that we're sponsored, not so much sponsors, just an affiliate link with Apex Dex. If you're interested in signing up, you can. But I also always tell you, please be careful with leverage because you can get liquidated if you don't use a stop loss, because you can lose more money than you put in. You have to be so very careful with it, with leverage. So if you're going to use it, don't make the same mistakes that those long traders made and not use a stop loss. Please use a stop loss. All right, back on with the regularly scheduled content. Bitcoin dropped $2,500 and it has entered into a new zone of market structure, this time above a longer-term uptrending level of support, except this uptrending level of support that is currently sitting on is an uptrending level of support that was set at a pivot point on Christmas Day last year, set with a set point, i.e. the point that defined the degree or the inclination of the trend line in early March of last year, and then moving on into June, we had another bottom touch on it. We fell through that level on August the 30th, and when we fell through that level, it seemed all hope was lost, and the trend line that was pointing towards a $35,000 to a $50,000 Bitcoin by year's end was no longer going to be held. That was until this meteoric rally brought us back up above that uptrend a couple of weeks ago. Well, right now, we are fighting to stay above that uptrend, and if we do, that uptrend is pointing to $50,000 by the end of January. If we do not stay above that uptrend, then we will have confirmation that we are finally getting a corrective movement following this gargantuan rally that we've been watching over the last 90 days. What's going to happen? Are we going to hold that uptrend, or are we going to have that fateful correction that Bitcoin so desperately needs? I'll just go ahead and tell you what I want to happen, and then I'll tell you what will probably happen. I want Bitcoin to go through a large correction. I want Bitcoin to drop down to 35. I want Bitcoin to drop down to 31.8. I want Bitcoin to drop 20 to 25%, and the altcoins to go through a crash, not so that you guys get wrecked, but so that we have even better entries. Bitcoin has proven 45 is in the cards. It's proven we're hitting 45. This bull market is not a degree of if and or but about it. It's already happened. It is proven. So if we drop down to 31.8, then you've got an almost perfect trade to buy in at 31.8 or 35 and then ride it to 45. Easy profit. I hope it crashes. Not necessarily saying I'm going to be shorting on the way down, but you bet your bottom Satoshi I'm going to be buying on the way back up. Dollar cost averaging into the market even more aggressively than I already am. But that's what I want to happen. What I want to happen matters how much? This much, because I am not the market maker. All of us are the market maker, because we are all the ones that move the market whenever we trade. And so I'm not really concerned too much as far as analysis is concerned on what I want or what you want. What we need to figure out is what is going to happen. And what is going to happen is that Bitcoin is going to have new formations building in this range between $40,000 and $42,000 for a little while. And from there, we're eventually going to break out of one of those formations, and we're going to either move up or down. And that's the question. Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? We have to pay very close attention to the short-term chart, and we don't have a lot of information down here, and that's something that we'll continue to look at on Coffee and Crypto tomorrow when we're looking at the charts live. But I have a hunch that the bulls actually might be able to hold on from here. They actually might be able to at least keep us above the 40 range for two reasons. Number one, when we originally fell back down to about 40,404, somewhere in there, the bulls bought up $1,500 in 3 minutes. That showed a huge amount of bullish exuberance, and it showed a massive amount of support had been built in the 39 to 40.5 region. And so that 39 to 40.5 region, which by the way is also the Fibonacci golden pocket retracement from all-time high 2 years ago to the bottom at 15.5 last Christmas, that zone of support now is our baseline for the market structure. So until Bitcoin breaks south of 39, I'm not in the camp of the bears. I am still in the camp of the bulls, although the bulls are losing strength. And part of the reason I think the bulls might actually have more room to run here is because in between the last two rallies, we didn't have a crash. We had sideways trading that was actually inclined to the upside. And even though we did not see a crash, we still managed to see MACD and RSI reset back down to baseline, and that's kind of what we're seeing happen right now on the daily chart. RSI and MACD are still resetting back down to baseline. They're going down to 50, and they are putting themselves in a position where they can rally again to 70 on RSI. They can go through a major rally again on MACD on daily chart after that reset plays out for a couple of days. If Bitcoin manages to hold above 39 to 40.5, therefore, then Bitcoin can theoretically go through all of the correction it needs without ever having to break into the bearish camp in the first place, which means that although the bulls took the breather that they needed, they never actually have to hand over the reins to the bears. And so therefore, the bulls may be in prime position over the next couple of weeks to bounce off of that zone of support between 39 to 40.5 and continue the rally moving into January on the backs of hype that a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF will be approved coming in January or February of next year. At the same time, we have massive rallies that are going on over the last week on the altcoins, emboldening the altcoin investors such as myself. And so you have the overall market going on an absolute tear, even despite a daily chart sell signal on Lux Algo for Bitcoin, even despite MACD converging bearish on itself, and even despite the fact that Bitcoin needs a correction after having rallied $20,000, it seems that it might be a little ways out from here. Could we still see $50,000 Bitcoin before we see a major correction? Absolutely. Would I like for that to happen? Oh, I'd like for Bitcoin to go down to 31.8. If Bitcoin drops below 39, I am officially a bear. Until then, I am still Team Bull. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned because this Thursday, I think perhaps the very best Climate of Crypto episode that I have ever produced is coming out. I stepped away from editing it to shoot this video, and I'm very excited about it. Cannot wait for you to see it. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. This Thursday, 2 p.m., my favorite Climate of Crypto episode that I've ever made is dropping. Make sure to go back and watch all the other ones. They're fantastic, so I'm told. I hope you will enjoy them, and happy trading. Peace.